We'll call Mr. Pennington next.
Jacob Pennington, 08/31/2003.
All right, sir. I have someone from the county attorney's office present in the court here. He won't be on the camera, but he's available. And I'll also hear from you, defense counsel. You are charged with felony charges of aggravated assault and disorderly conduct dealing with the attack on a 17-year-old minor. Before I go through any of the rest of this information, I'd like to hear first from the county attorney's office, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. William Walls on behalf of the state. Your Honor, the state's requesting the court impose a $10,000 secured appearance bond, as well as to make special conditions to not have any contact with the victim, as well as for this individual, Mr. Pennington, to not have any contact with anyone associated with the Gilbert goons. Mr. Pennington admitted that he is associated with a violent group of people who are assaulting and injuring minor children in the valley, and that's the basis of the state's request.
I want to make sure that I understood it was a $10,000 bond.
Correct, Your Honor.
And I will confess that I had a really difficult time identifying who the victim was. It was not identified. So if you wish to provide more detail than what was included in the offense report, I'll welcome that and we can add that to it. All I knew was it was a 17-year-old child.
Your Honor, I do have the victim's name is
And do you wish to have his address included?
No, Your Honor. For the victim's rights, I would request not to have the victim's contact information in a public document.
All right, sir, I understand that. And then the additional thing was you wanted him to be specifically prohibited from having any contact with anyone that he knows to be a member of the Gilbert goons.
Correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Counsel, do you want to be heard with respect to any of those conditions?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm asking for a pretrial service release based on lack of criminal history for Mr. Pennington, as well as his young age. He's 20 years old. It's my understanding he has employment, said electrical work. So I believe that would be appropriate. If the court deems necessary to put a small bond in place too, just to secure his appearance. It doesn't appear he's a flight risk. I don't think there's any record of failure to appear. I believe there may be a misdemeanor DUI on the record. Absent that, there's no felonies. I would just ask that he's allowed to be released, or a more reasonable bond that him or his family could post so he can keep his job. So I'd ask for pretrial services with no bond, or if the court deems necessary, a $1,000 bond with that. Thank you.
Counsel, do you wish to respond?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Wow, I have concerns about the risks presented by anyone associated with the Gilbert goons with respect to the kind of conduct that was described in here. It's not a fight. The report indicates you beat somebody up and held them down while other people kicked them. And that's what's in the report. And there's apparently a video to that effect. I don't know if that's the case. But that's the kind of conduct that gets people seriously hurt. So I understand the concern about counsel about wanting to have supervised release. I don't think that's a bad idea. The only question I have is whether whether the amount of the bond should be minimum or on the order of what counsel from the county attorney has suggested is $10,000. I am aware of the kind of conduct that's gone on in the area of the Coombs High School and the number of people that have been harmed. So I'm not really willing to set a low bond. I might split the difference and call it a $5,000 bond and include supervised release conditions. Are you suggesting just supervised release, or do you want any alcohol monitoring or anything like that?
Your Honor, I think that that's a good idea. I think that that would go along with pretrial services, would order alcohol monitoring along with it as well.
Okay. That's what I'm inclined to do, counsel. I'm going to have to make changes to this, but while you're both here, I will make those changes, but I will go ahead and do the advisement of the other terms that we haven't reached. I wanted to hear from you both before I went through the details. I'd originally set a $5,000 bond, and I believe that that was appropriate based on the context, as I've explained, of the nature of the offense that's included in the report. You're scheduled for a non-witness preliminary hearing on Tuesday, January 16th at 8:30 in the morning in the Pinal County Superior Court. That's here in Florence. All the standard terms and conditions are exactly the same as we've gone over for everyone else that you heard this morning or this afternoon. I did have box 7 checked, do not threaten or initiate any type of contact with the alleged victim, and all I had was 17-year-old minor. So I'm sorry that I will amend that to include the name of. I did indicate that you're not to go to locations as specified here in the home or work or school of the victim. I don't have an address, but we won't include that. But do not have any contact with him. Don't go looking for him. All the other terms and conditions are exactly the same as we've gone through. Those were the unique ones for you. I did find probable cause for your arrest. I will be signing that portion of the order. And I have determined that you're entitled to be represented by the Pinal County Public Defender's Office. So with those additions, we'll have to make the changes that I have agreed to do. That would be to set the supervised release conditions, including alcohol and drug monitoring. That's on box number, well, it's the second box. And then we'll check box 18 for drug and alcohol monitoring, and box 19 that requires you to contact pretrial services and can file with the adult probation pretrial services. And what those things significantly mean is that you are held to whatever that agency requires you to do, just as if I had ordered it. So you need to understand the significance of the consequences that happen if you don't comply with the supervised release program. So I'll make those changes, and we'll, as soon as they're back up, I'll either call you back up or just transmit them to you. I've explained to you what will be happening. Before I end this case, do you have anything else, counsel, you wish?
Your Honor, was the court going to order the condition to not have any association with anyone who this person knows it to be associated with the Gilbert goons?
Yes, I will, and that will be under box 17 on the release conditions. It will say that you are specifically prohibited from having any contact with anyone known to be a member or associated with the Gilbert goons. Is that?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Counsel, do you have anything further?
I don't, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, please have a seat, sir.